we're going to be talking about the pronunciation of the spelling O-U-G-H, okay? So there are 11 different ways to pronounce the spelling O-U-G-H. However, a lot of these are words which are quite archaic. We never used them. They're very rarely used anyway. So I'm just going to focus on 8 today because they contain some of the most common words that you're going to actually use. So I've chosen words which are actually useful for you. Okay? So let's see. Oh my goodness, I've called this lesson 8 ways to pronounce the spelling O-U-G-H. There are more, 11, remember? But let's not make you cry too much today, okay? I didn't want to waste your time to go through all of the ways to pronounce it because you're never going to use these words. So the first way we have to pronounce it is uff. For example, rough. This would be the opposite of soft or the opposite of smooth, okay? For example, the sandpaper is very rough, okay? Sandpaper is not soft. Sandpaper is very rough. Tough. That's why I've got a little picture of a tough guy, okay? He's a pretty tough guy, meaning strong, okay? Tough. Enough. Make sure you get that stress on the second syllable as well. I've had enough. Then the last one, this is actually a surname. It's a very, very common surname here in the UK. So if you're working in the UK or you're working with people from the UK, it's a good idea to know how to pronounce some of the surnames, especially the most common ones. So what we've got here is Brough. His name is Steve Brough. Okay, so that's the first one. I must mention before you guys, I can see you in the comments like 11 different ways. It's crazy, I know. English is a mess. I must say, I forgot to mention at the beginning that if you came to this lesson today expecting rules for when we pronounce certain words in a certain way, leave, guys, because there is no rule at all. I can't add much more to that, so I'm sorry. I said it this morning as well in the live and I disappointed so many people. But anyway, so we have rough, tough, enough, and brough. That's the first one, off. The next one, we have off. So let's compare those sounds. Uff, off. This one's more rounded, off. For example, cough. I've got a terrible cough. So a cough is that's a cough. It can be the verb or the noun. I've got a terrible cough. The second one is trough. Now you can see in the picture of the 2 little pigs, okay, we have this container which has the food inside. This container where we put the food for animals, typically like cows, pigs, sheep. So it's a large container, typically outside. We call this a trough. The farmer filled the trough for the pigs. Trough. So that's the second one, off. How are we doing in the comments? Someone said, it's a mess, but you make it easier. Thank you. That's really kind. So, next one. Ow. This sound, ow. So we have drought. A drought is when you go quite a long period without any rainfall. So the land is very dry and there's no water available. Drought. For example, after a long period without rain, the country experienced a serious drought. After a long period of without rain, the country experienced a serious drought. The next one is plough. Plough. A plough, you can see in the picture, is this kind of machine that we use in the fields to turn the soil, okay? It's the noun and the verb, in case there are any farmers who are curious here. So we have, the fields must be ploughed every summer. The fields must be ploughed every summer. Then the last one is slough. 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 This is actually quite a large town just outside of London. So we can say, have you ever been to Slough? Have you ever been to Slough? Now, this spelling of S-L-O-U-G-H can be pronounced in, I think, 3 or 4 different ways, but it depends if it's a noun, a verb, depends on the context. Okay, today I've just shown you Slough because honestly, I don't think you're going to use the other ways to pronounce it. Okay, you're more likely to talk about the town Slough than you are the other ways, the other words. So that's ough. Drought, plough, slough. Then we have o. O. So notice that this transitions from o. Although. Although. Notice that stress on the second syllable. Although. Although it was cold, I still went outside. Although it was cold, I still went outside. Dough. 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 This is, as you can see in the picture, this is dough. It's what we use to make bread or make pizza, for example. The chef prepared the dough. The chef prepared the dough. Then the last one, though. Make sure you really get that th, that though. Though. This one, oh no, I put the wrong, every time I always mess up. I mixed the definition. Though. So let me think of an example. By the way, I will edit this and I will put it into the document later. So I could say, even though, okay, that would go together. Even though it was cold, I still went outside. Even though it was cold, I still went outside. So I will edit this one. Damn, always make a mistake. I'm just terrible. I think that's going to be my trademark now, that I just expect mistakes to be in my lessons. So the next one, we have or. So be really careful because a lot of people get a little bit distracted by the spelling and they pronounce it like boat. But this is not a diphthong. It's not o, but it's or. One long diphthong. Or. Bought. I bought some bread. I bought some bread. Brought. Exactly the same. Not brought. 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 Have you brought the presents? Have you brought the presents? Sought. This is the past of to seek. Okay? They sought shelter. Sought. Sought. It's also pronounced the same way as S-O-R-T. Sort, as in the sort, the kind, the type of something. Okay? They are homophones. The next one we have is thought. Thought. She thought of a new idea. She thought of a new idea. Fought. Fought. This is the past of to fight. That's why I have a picture of Street Fighter, okay? They fought in the street. They fought in the street. And the last one, ought. Ought. This is used in a similar way as should, and it always goes with to. So it's always ought to, ought to, ought to. So notice that I don't separate it. Not ought to, joins together. You ought to help him. You ought to help him. It's like saying you should help him. Okay, how are we doing in the comments so far? Any questions? Oh, someone's asked, did you forget the R in the transcription? Which word? Probably. No, I think we were talking about through, but no, it was though. There was no error with that one. The error was actually with the sentence. We'll talk about through in a moment. Is doubt sound the same? No, not quite. No. Sorry, Emma. If I'm... that question is not related. So I'm not going to answer any unrelated questions because then we're just going to get off track. Okay? So the next one. Let's read these quickly. We've got bought, brought, sought, thought, fought, and ought. Okay? All those with or. This is the one that I messed up before with the sentence, but I will edit it later, correct it, and put the document in the description for you. So we have ooh, ooh, through, through. For example, the dog jumped through the hoop. The dog jumped through the hoop. Through. The next one is a schwa. For example, Bara. Bara. Don't look at the spelling, guys, because if you look at the spelling, you're going to get seriously confused. Bara. Bara. It's sometimes cheaper to live in the boroughs. So a borough is basically like a little area, like you could say a neighborhood almost. It's like a small town, but it's part of a city. Okay? The next one, thorough, thorough, thorough. They conducted a thorough investigation. They conducted a thorough investigation. The last one is actually a surname again. It's very common, so I've included it just in case any of you guys need to know how to pronounce surnames. Willoughby, Willoughby, Willoughby. Dr. Willoughby will see you now. Dr. Willoughby will see you now. Right there. We've got Bara, thorough, Willoughby. So we're on the last one, and this one is a very strange one, but it's pronounced up, up. For example, hiccup, hiccup. Now with hiccup, you can also spell it this way. However, I tend to see more Brits using the ough spelling and more Americans using the cup spelling. So you decide which one you want to go with. It's nice to have that choice, I guess. So a hiccup is like this. Okay? Hiccup. And you can drink water, you could hold your breath, or something like that to stop the hiccups. So an example sentence would be, drinking water can sometimes help get rid of hiccups. Drinking water can sometimes help get rid of hiccups, which is true, sometimes, but not always. How are we doing so far in the comments? Are we okay? Oh, it's fantastic that you guys help each other in the comments too. It's so nice. What's the negative form of ought to? There isn't one. It's a good question. There isn't one. You would just use shouldn't. You shouldn't do that. Yeah, you wouldn't say you ought not to. You ought not to do that. Nah, no one would say that. We would just use shouldn't or should not. No, fantastic. No one else has got any questions, so good. So we can finish there on the last one. I want to go through just one final time, going through the pronunciation of all the words. So if you're watching at home or in the car, on your sofa, on the bus, wherever, let's have a practice together. So let's go right to the start. We've got, listen and repeat at home, okay? We've got rough, tough, enough, bruff, cough, trough, drought, plough, slough, although, dough, though, bought, brought, sought, thought, fought, ought, through, borough, thorough, Willoughby, and the last one, hiccup. with a P. How is there a P sound in this? It makes no sense. And I'm native, guys. So you can imagine me as a little English child learning how to read and write and just thinking, how, Mum? How is this a P sound? Makes no sense. Anyway, that is it for this live. I don't think anyone else has had any other questions, which is fantastic. So I want to thank you again for joining this live. If it's the second time you've watched it, then sorry for this warning, but at least we only got it down to one mistake today in this one. But never mind, that's going to be my trademark now. I'm going to aim for at least one mistake in every live. So have a fantastic week. Don't forget that tomorrow I have another live. It will be at, let me double check the time, because I know some of you guys will probably want to know. I think it's at 10:30. Yeah, it's at 10:30 tomorrow morning, UK time. So there we go. I will see you at 10:30 UK time tomorrow morning. If not, don't worry. All of the lessons are available to watch after the live stream, so you can take a look then. Have a lovely week, a lovely day, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye bye, guys.